Hi, I'm Mr. Matson, and I teach world history at Lenawee Christian School. I'm a teacher, but I'm also a parent. And so I've been through those evening tasks of trying to figure out my child's homework and the expectations for classes. I thought it might be helpful if I gave you just a little sneak peek into our world history classroom so that if your son or daughter comes home and they have something they need to get done for world history, well, I'd like you to have a sense, have an understanding of my expectations. And so I thought it might be good for you to see a little bit of how we do things in class. And one of the best ways to do that is to kind of walk you through very quickly on our Moodle course page. So let me shrink my camera down just a little bit so that you can take a look at our Moodle course page. When the students come into class, they're going to immediately engage in a bell work activity. And the bell work is meant to be a learning activity that gets your mind thinking, gets your mind engaged so that you're ready to learn during the class period. And that should be happening as soon as the bell rings, so students should be engaged in that task right away. I list them by the day typically so they can see which bell work link they should click on when they come into class for that particular day. Once they're done with their bell work, then they should begin on the lesson for the particular day. I thought it might be good for you to see what a lesson looks like as well. So if they click on the lesson for that particular day, it will take them first to an overview video from me in which I explain a little bit of what we're talking about inside of this particular portion of the chapter. And one of the things I want the students to do is to have this pre-reading activity where I talk to them about what's happening inside of this portion of the chapter and then give them a chance to read that portion of the chapter. So we start with an introductory video, and then after they're done with that, they can click on this button beneath it that says answer some questions about what I just said. And these questions are meant to be just quick reviews, not tough, not challenging, not overly challenging, meant to be were you paying attention while I was talking? And it gives them a chance to see if they can remember anything from what I just said. So it says the earliest civilizations tended to be nomadic or agricultural. Well, they tended to be nomadic. And then you hit submit. You'll notice that down at the bottom, there's a little progress bar right here. That progress bar can tell the student how they're doing over the course of the whole lesson. So we're at 22% and we're on to our second question. The Phoenicians were known for developing an alphabet. And then we hit submit, go to the next question. Israel was monotheistic, which means that it believed in many gods or believed in one god. It's believed in one god. So we hit submit. Then we go to the portion where I'd like to dedicate some time for them to just read from the textbook, to focus on just quietly reading the portion that I just talked about in the textbook. Now, this is going to be time that I do give them in class to focus on this, and I understand that students come into this classroom at all different reading levels. So I want to make sure that students who are strong, proficient readers feel free to just read this portion of the textbook during the time that I provide. But there are other students who might benefit from listening to someone read the textbook. That being the case, I've gone through and recorded the entire textbook, and I've included audio links here so that the student can actually listen to me read the textbook to them. My recommendation is that the student would have the textbook open in front of them, be reading while they're listening to me read the textbook to them. Once they're done, they click on the next button, which will take them to the next portion of the lesson. And this one, in this particular lesson, I have 2 video overviews in it, just happens to be 2 video overviews. They'll watch this video and then answer some questions about what I just said. The idea of a democracy was developed by, that was the Greeks. I better not get any of these wrong. The English language came from a Latin language, which was spoken by the Romans. And we hit submit. And then this takes them to the last portion where they get to read the remaining portion that we're covering in class that day. Again, I'll provide an audio link. If they would like to listen to me read it, that's fine. If not, they can just read it on their own. Here's what's key. The homework associated with Lesson 1.1 is what I call Lesson Check 1.1. They don't get access to Lesson Check 1.1 until they have walked through all of these steps. I'll provide time in class for students to engage in these steps, but this step right here is very crucial. If you don't click finish the lesson won't know that you're done, and the lesson check won't appear on our Moodle course page. So click finish the lesson, and then it actually gives you a link right here that you can go to lesson check 1.1. I'd like to show you where this is located. So let me go back to our Moodle course page. And now you can see that underneath lesson 1.1 is lesson check 1.1. This will be a randomly selected set of questions for the students, usually between 8 to 10 questions that they will answer. The lesson checks, they are allowed to attempt them 2 times. Each time that they attempt them, they are given 20 minutes to answer the questions. While they're answering those questions, they may have their textbook open. They may refer to what they just read. I would like them to, in fact, be referring to what they just read. And this grade will be recorded inside of the RenWeb gradebook. Those quick questions that I ask after the video overviews in the lesson, in this portion right here, I don't record those inside of the gradebook. I'm just doing a quick check to see if they're understanding. But the answers that they provide in the lesson check, I do place those grades into the RenWeb gradebook. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse into one of the things that we do inside of the classroom. And like I said, I'll provide time inside of class for students to work through these types of activities. And the great thing is, while students are engaged in these activities, I can be pulling small groups of students to me or working with students one-on-one with other tasks that are associated with our class, and I'll fill you in on those as we go along. Thanks for watching.